Ms. Matt Galloway. Should Ontario award scholarships to foreign students? That's a contentious question at Queen's Park these days. A program announced earlier this month would see 75 foreign PhD students a year receive four-year scholarships. Those scholarships worth about $40,000 a year, or $160,000 per student. Now, the province would pay two-thirds of the cost. Universities would fund the rest. We'll hear from John Malloy, the Minister of Training, Colleges and Universities, in just a moment. First, though, the opposition Tories have started a petition to have this program cancelled. Jim Wilson is one of the MPPs behind the petition. He's the Tory critic for colleges and universities. He's on the line with us now. Jim, good morning.
Good morning, Matt.
What's wrong with helping students, foreign students in particular,
Well, no one has any problem with foreign students. In fact, we have thousands of them in the system in the Ontario colleges and universities right now. I think Ontario students, though, feel betrayed, those whose families pay taxes here and those students who pay tuition fees here, that Mr. McGuinney would come up with a new program, $40,000 a year. It starts with 75 students. By the end of the fourth year, it grows to 300 international students. And I meet students all the time who simply can't afford to go to grad school because they already have over $20,000 worth of debt from their undergraduate, so they have to go to work. So we have the best and brightest here, and we should be cultivating that homegrown talent before we send such generous scholarships overseas.
The government, though, says, and maybe this is the heart of that betrayal, that this will actually help attract the brightest students from around the world to this province. Yes, we have the best and brightest here. We also have the opportunity to have those students learn and interact with smart people from elsewhere. Isn't that a good thing?
Well, you know, when Mr. McGuinney announced earlier this year in the budget that he was welcoming more foreign students, it was to be modeled after Australia and other jurisdictions that make money off of students. Then his next announcement a couple of weeks ago was suddenly we're going to spend $30 million, tax dollars and student tuition dollars from Ontario students, attracting international students. We have thousands and thousands of international students here. They come. They more than pay their way, and they're happy to be here because of the quality of education we offer. We need to give Ontario families a break and Ontario students a break, and make sure that our undergraduates that have very high academic achievement can actually go to graduate school. There are thousands and thousands of students who each year cannot afford to go to graduate school, and they would love a $40,000 a year scholarship.
So if your party were to come into power, then would you just slash the price of graduate programs, or would you make sure that those Ontario students are able to access funding so that they wouldn't be left off in the side?
Well, Tim Hudak, the leader of the PCs, has indicated that every penny of the $30 million that Dalton wants to spend in this new international student program will be reinvested into Ontario students and Ontario families. So that's our commitment. It's an awful lot of money, especially at a time when we have an over $20 billion deficit in the province. $30 million pumped into our Ontario students would be a big help to them.
What happens next with this proposal to cancel the program? The government seems pretty committed to it.
Well, he's backtracked on putting limiting chocolate milk in grade schools, and he's backtracked on sex ed for 6-year-olds. So I think Dalton McGuinney might backtrack on this if we keep the pressure up. And I'm on the road now meeting with students who are very much feel betrayed by this program. And we have
do they though? Do students actually worked up about this?
Oh yeah, they're really worked up about it.
I mean, the government
and
the opposition certainly is because this is politics. But on the ground, honestly, do people actually care about this?
There's a visceral feeling out there that Dalton McGuinney's out of touch, and that this program, no one asked for it, and yet student groups and students have consistently said, look, we've got the highest tuition fees in all of Canada right now. We need assistance pumped into our colleges and universities now, and international students should pay their own way for the most part.
Jim Wilson, good to speak with you.
Thank you, Matt.
Jim Wilson, one of the MPPs behind a petition to have foreign scholarship programs cancelled. The man who instigated these programs, John Malloy, he's the Minister of Training, Colleges and Universities. He's on the line with us now. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Why does Ontario need this program to help foreign grad students?
Well, listen, we need to attract the best and the brightest at home and abroad. So let's first of all, having heard Mr. Wilson, let's put one thing aside. We spend over $500 million every year on grants and scholarships for Ontario students. Heck of a lot more generous than when Mr. Wilson's party was in power, but let's put that aside. So in terms of international students, we're in a race. Every jurisdiction's in a race to attract the best and the brightest. We want to open the doors to more international students. This will attract some of the best. It'll attract others that follow on. It is a big business here in Ontario. The impact of our international students is about $1 billion. And experts tell us about 80% of international students stay. And there's numerous examples of folks coming over here to do a PhD that stay on. They're leaders in terms of research, in terms of business. They're creating jobs. This is all about Ontario playing in the big leagues.
Interesting that you use the word business to describe this. Is that what really this is about? Because foreign students pay an awful lot of money to come here, more so than homegrown domestic students. So is that really what this is about?
No, this is about part of the internationalization that's going on and making sure that Ontario is attracting the best and the brightest, that we're competing with the Harvards and the Oxfords and the Stanfords and getting them here. You get a superstar here, there's other students who follow. These scholarships will go across the province to all the universities that offer doctoral programs. It's going to raise the profile, and it's going to attract these students to enhance the program, and many of them stay. And we've had tons of examples come through over the past few days as Mr. Wilson's been on the trip. We've had people say, well, wait a minute, you know, we've had students who come over here to do their PhD. They fall in love with Canada. They stay here. There's business opportunities. Perhaps they return home and they have important ties with Ontario. I mean, this is about building the capacity.
But what about the students who are here, the best and brightest, as Jim Wilson says, who can't afford to go to grad school because they're saddled with debt? And his claim, and his party's claim, is that your government is out of touch with what people here are actually facing. Not people, the best and brightest from around the world, but the people who actually here who want to do well for themselves, who simply can't afford to do it.
Well, as I say, we invest over $500 million every year in terms of grants and scholarships. We have the most generous student assistance program in Canada. I was on your show about 2 months ago to talk about more changes that we've made to OSAP. And I've got to tell you, and I know this is about international students, it's just sometimes a bit rich coming from the Conservatives, who in fact slashed student aid, that they would make this a bit of a cause célèbre. I'm not sure their credibility on it. The other thing, and you know, you raised about the student groups. Right now, every major student organization in Ontario has come out in support of the government on this and condemn what the Conservatives are doing. Business organizations have come forward in support of what's happening because they realize that Ontario's got to draw in the best talent. The universities very much in favor of this.
John Malloy, good to speak with you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
John Malloy, the Minister of Training, Colleges and Universities for the province. We spoke with Jim Wilson as well, the Tory critic for that ministry. Any thoughts on the issue of the provincial government funding scholarships for foreign PhD students? We'd be happy to hear from you. The number of the Vox Box, 416-205-5807. 5 minutes away.